All right, hello. Today we have an awesome OTA. Also, this is my extra channel. It's not the regular Binks channel. Please subscribe to the extra channel. I have VODs and lots of really cool stuff here. We have an awesome new OTA update. As a content creator, I do get a little bit early access to this, but I am on the day of the OTA, kind of doing my first reacts. I have peeked at this a little bit, but I'm excited to just kind of tell you what I think about it. So today's the update. 3 nerfs, 2 buffs. Look very familiar to you. Dr. Doom, reverted! Back to 5 Doom bots, 5 powered Doom bots. In hindsight, the timing of our previous nerf to Dr. Doom wasn't ideal. While he was dominating, we had Spider-Ham coming the elbow from the top rope and move decks around the rise. The stock was already going to dip. And next week's the metagame shifted with Professor X going to lockdown favorite once again, Captain Marvel changing locations. So we're reverting Doom. This makes C5 terrifying. Cerebral 5 people are already jumping back on because Spider-Man came there and there were some other good things. Doom was the only reason to play Cerebral 5 in my opinion. I think that the newer Cerebral 5 is pretty okay, but God, C5 is going to be a monster. And now it did lose Captain Marvel, and this is the next change because that goes to a 4-4. So you could probably just kind of swap those. Maybe you don't want to do Zabu strategies anymore. It also lost some of them. We're running Rockslide, and we'll get to Rockslide in a little bit. But man, dude, Cerebral 5 now with like 4 2 drops, several 3 drops. I think like a Cerebral 5 wave deck is going to be absolutely soul crushing. So look out for that. Great change. I'm happy that they're bringing back old Doom. It is sorely missed. I think it's a really cool kind of powerhouse card to build around, or like balance around. Captain Marvel, old 4-5, new 4-4. I think this is needed, man. With Zabu being able to play her for 3 and have so much control, especially if you like get her power even bigger with things like Forge or Shuri. I was thinking like the Snapcon tournament. Some decks were just like playing 4-10 Captain Marvels and just being like, all right, we'll figure out how to win, dude. It's a really terrifying card, especially when it gets its power up anymore. So I think a little knock to it is really good. So we'll see what it looks like as a 4-4. I think it'll still be played a lot. The card is super good, and I think that I underrated it for a really long time. Legion. If you said that Legion would get nerfed within a month after he came out, you would get laughed off the face of the internet before this came out. I think Legion, it was a big wake-up call to a lot of people that the way that we think about Marvel Snap cards might not be exactly what we want to be. And Legion was supposed to be a 5-7. They pushed it to a 5-8. I think they mentioned it. So speaking of coming in hot, we're worried players might underestimate Legion, so we gave him a late internal buff from 5-7 to 5-8 to give him an extra oomph. Seems kind of silly now, doesn't it? Yeah, it's wild. And they were totally right. I don't think people would have tried Legion nearly as much as if it was a 5-7. Going to a 5-7 I think is really smart. I think it knocks it, just makes it a little bit weaker overall. So I'm a big fan of this. Legion was kind of everywhere, which is pretty crazy. This is the coolest one for me. Rockslide. From a 4-5, shuffle 2 rocks to your opponent's decks to a 3-3 with the same thing. Shuffle 2 rocks in your opponent's deck. So you're paying 2 more energy than Korg for only 1 more power, but you get an extra rock. So it's a little bit interesting. So a lot of times you would be playing Rockslide on 3 anyway. If you got Zabu on 2, Rockslide on 3 was probably the best follow-up because it's so disruptive. Your opponent has a 6-card deck. They're going to draw 3 more cards out of it, and you're going to shuffle 2 rocks into there. You have almost, I think it's, I was looking this up in like a card draw calculator. It's like over a 60% chance if you play it on curve and there's no other factors that your opponent will draw a rock. So you're stopping your opponent from drawing something. But it doesn't just fit into the Zabu Darkhawk package anymore, which I think is going to make people play Darkhawk differently, because Zabu was just a shoo-in to any Darkhawk deck because you know you have Rockslide, you know you have Darkhawk, there's other great cards like Shang-Chi. So you just throw a Zabu in and you throw at least 1 more 4-drop and it's worth it. Now with Rockslide going on, you kind of have to think about how you're doing Darkhawk. But I will tell you, today on stream, I'm going to be playing Darkhawk Surfer, which I think will be sneaky, really strong. So I'm really excited. I'm gonna play Darkhawk Surfer later today. Keep an eye out for that. I think it's gonna be I think it'll be a mean deck. I think it'll be a lot meaner than you'd expect. So I'm really excited to give that a try. So again, Darkhawk's the star here. Why are we knocking down Rockslide? It's just a perfect metaphor. Someone has to do the dirty work. Yeah, so true. So I really like this change. I think that it'll change the way you have to think about Darkhawk decks. It's just really good. Then Lady Deathstrike going from a 5-3 to a 5-4. Lady Deathstrike was terrible as a 5-3. I think as a 5-4, she's kind of terrifying, and she's an adequate card for defending against certain metas. So if our opponents are playing any kind of Bast strategy, like now Lady Deathstrike eats Bast for lunch. I'm really excited to see how it works. think that Lady Deathstrike as a 5/4 is a scary card. I actually, all before Lady Deathstrike came out, I was always saying like being at 5/3 is really rough because you have to get her power up to be effective, because if you're not over 3, you're not really doing anything. Starting as a 5/4 and just being able to play out, like I said, Bass decks are going to be in a really bad spot. I'm excited to see and play around with this card. I think that Lady Deathstrike gets so much better, like a huge leap better, but she was so bad. Does that get her to the point where she's really good? I'm not exactly sure. Well, that was the OTA, and I think we got just a little bit over 5 minutes here. Super excited to try out a lot of these cards. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Which one is your favorite? I really like these changes. Congrats to Second Dinner for their amazing changes, and especially things like reverting. You know, doing Dr. Doom, saying, hey, we maybe missed the ball here. Let's revert Dr. Doom like in like 2 months. Love it. So wonderful, wonderful. Make sure to sub to Binks Extra. This is Binks Extra. It's my extra channel, not a real channel. Oh my gosh, bye! Oh my gosh, bye! Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen if I hit this button? Oh my gosh!